Hello and welcome to It's Me, Oddly. If you haven't guessed, it's me, Oddly. And this is the very first episode of my podcast. Yay! I am excited to start this new venture because this just seems like me. This seems like something I would do. And I am very excited to do this and to have you guys along for the ride if you choose so. And I'm just ready, man. Let's get into it. I feel like this podcast is going to be just a cozy little place. If you know me, a lot of my socials are Oddly Cozy Cottage or Oddly Cottage, depending on where you're finding me. And that's just my thing. I just want to have a cozy little space with you guys. And we're going to be friends. And we're going to have tea and get cozy and talk about things that we want to talk about. And it's just a warm time. So get into some very comfy clothes and get your tea ready. And let's just have these conversations together. I think that with this podcast, there will be a variety of things that I talk about because I'm a multifaceted person and I like talking about a variety of things. So, only God knows where this is going, man. I can't wait to see where we end up, honestly. I guess we should start with proper introductions because this is our first time meeting, you know. I am Oddly. That's a good place to start, right? I am 26. I'm a writer. I am a podcaster, if you hadn't noticed. And I use they, them pronouns. So, yeah, those are some little tidbits about me. And I can't wait to start this beautiful parasocial relationship together. I'm sure it'll be a fun time for both of us. So today's episode, our first episode, very exciting. I want to talk about self-love. It's something that I was pretty excited to realize that I wanted to be the first thing I talked about because I feel that it's kind of a big part of me at this point in my life because going on this journey of discovering myself and learning to be gentle with myself and being kind to myself, it has really changed me for the better. It hasn't been easy at all. It's been very hard for me to get to this point, but I'm proud of the progress that I've made, and I guess I just want to share that in a way, and I hope to inspire others to, I don't know, start the journey themselves and open themselves up to this process. it's um it's a struggle. I'll be extremely honest about it. It's not easy. It's grueling. It's hard work. It's tiring. Sometimes it feels like it's not even gratifying in the moment. But I promise you, you do look up one day and realize the progress you've made. And you're like, wow, I really did that. I've come so far, you know? The struggle is always worth it when it comes to working on yourself and being the best version of yourself, I promise. I personally never would have thought that I would have gotten to this point. Like 16-year-old me, 15, 13, hell, even 8-year-old me would not be able to fathom the person I am now. and the kindness and the gentleness that I show myself, the amount of love that I give to myself, the acceptance that I give to myself. What? It's like, who are you? I guess I'm myself. And I really like who I am. Another thing I never thought I would be able to say, I like who I am. I like me. I like being with me. I think I'm peaches and cream. If I'm honest, I think I'm pretty freaking great. Other people may not feel that way, and that's totally fine. It's their choice to have bad taste. I can't do anything about that. That's that's all on them, man. I think I'm pretty awesome. Obviously, I'm joking, and not everybody is gonna like you. Like, what's that? I think it's Dita Von Teese. She says something like, "You could be the sweetest, ripest peach in the world. There will always be someone who doesn't like peaches." So, you just gotta learn how to like yourself. And that's why we're here today. Yeah. A big part of my journey, not a big part, but an interesting part, I want to say, of my journey into accepting myself. I kind of joked my way into it. I joked myself into loving myself. It's almost like I tricked myself, I guess, in that sense. I I saw a TikTok. That's how a lot of sentences start now, don't they? But anyway, I saw a TikTok of this person that I followed on an old account that I had. And they were talking about how they came to love themselves by kind of complimenting themselves as a joke. Like, ha ha ha, I'm so attractive. Like, in the same way the same way a lot of people will quote unquote jokingly berate themselves, but nice. And they talked about how because they joke their way into giving themselves compliments, they were like, oh, all of a sudden, I actually believe that I'm the hottest thing since sliced bread. Nobody talks like that but me, by the way. So the person that made that video didn't say that. I said that. But what I'm saying is, I saw that video and I don't know. I was like, I'll try anything once, twice if I was confused the first time. Why not? And I just, like, when I would do or like make jokes about myself that were, belittling and the like, I would switch it and be like, wait, no, haha, I'm actually so attractive, ha 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 ha. And now it's like, I'm so attractive, period. And you really can't like convince me otherwise. It's just not gonna happen. And I'm sure to the average Joe, like, I sound like such a conceited person. I'm not. I'm very aware of the fact that I'm just a simple little human being running around doing my thing. And I'm not perfect, but I'm trying, you know? But I'm also hot. You know what I mean? Like, I'm imperfect. I am a work in progress, but I'm a hot work in progress. You know what I mean? So that's how I got to that point with just, I genuinely find myself attractive. I think I have a lot of great qualities. I just kind of woke up and was like, yeah, it's not a joke anymore. Like that one meme that was like going around where the voice is like, I started saying, feet as a joke, but I don't think it's a joke anymore. Yeah, that. But like with being nice to myself. Another thing that really helped me, because so like everything, I think essentially everything I'm going to be saying in this episode, they all happened at very different times and culminated into me taking all those things that I heard at different points in time, taking them, putting them into a bowl, and making an I love myself soup. But it took a long time to get the ingredients. I hope that makes sense. So I was talking to someone. I wish I could remember his name because he was so cool. If I can find his information and his wife's information, I'm gonna like share it because they were like so kind to me and like really helped me in ways they just don't even know. But yeah, I was talking to this gentleman who, yeah, I was just kind of like telling him what was going on with me and like how I was feeling about myself, how I wasn't a big fan of myself, and all that stuff. And he we we were sitting down. As we were sitting down, he was talking to me and he was like, "Well, why do you believe that?" And I was like, "I don't know, I just do." And he went on to be like, "Well, when did you first think that? Like, when did you first feel like that?" And then I was like, I don't know, man. I just always have. And then he goes on to explain that, a lot of the things that we learn, as far as social cues and stuff, through direct and indirect forms of communication. And through indirect communication, I learned that it wasn't okay to be me. It wasn't okay to care about myself and love myself and be myself. And so, because of that indirect communication, I became very unkind to myself. And he goes on to say, why should you believe all these awful things about yourself if these were never your viewpoints to begin with? This was given to you by other people. But you personally did not decide one day that you felt this way about yourself. And that like really like woke something up in me, and it like it's like, wow, no, because you're right. I never said that I was this awful thing and that awful thing. I noticed people's reactions to me and the things I would say and do and realized they didn't like it. And so, because they didn't like it, I had to tailor myself to them. And gosh, that really set me up to really be it set me up to be gentler with myself, but that took some time. Being gentle with myself was not easy, especially because for a long time I didn't even realize how harsh I was on myself. I had gotten a lot better with like my thoughts about myself, as far as like, oh yeah, I think I'm super great and cool. But when I would mess up, I would take it to heart pretty much, and I was just so I was just too hard on myself. There's no other way to put it, because that's just what it was, you know? And so that's something I had to unlearn. And just like I've been doing this thing where I like kind of try to catch myself in the moment of when I'm being a little too hard on myself. I'm like, hey, wait, let's really look at what we've got here. Let's really talk about it. Let's really think about it. And I kind of try to take myself and see myself in the third person. How would I essentially I try to take me and see myself as a third party. And if I were someone else, how would I console that person? What would I say to them if it wasn't me and it was someone else? Because I noticed that I tend to be a lot easier on people who aren't me. Like, I give them grace, I give them patience and understanding, but I can't give it to myself. And that made living life a little hard. I won't lie to you. It was difficult. But learning that it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to be human. That was very important for me to know and understand. You know, growing up, you kind of get taught that, well, not kind of, you do. You get taught that mistakes are bad. If you make a mistake, you're a bad person. That's not true. If you make a mistake, you're a person who made a mistake. That's it. And mistakes can be fixed. And if they can't, you learn how to move forward after making that mistake. All in all, mistakes are human and they're how we learn, and we should not be punished for them. So I had to learn how to stop punishing myself for simply being a person. Honestly, I'm still learning. I'm still trying to, again, give myself patience and grace and understanding, the kind that I would give to other people. It's going okay. It's not easy, but it's going okay. I actually, I didn't think that I would get this far. Like, not to do a total tone shift. This is about to get kind of heavy. But I didn't think that I would get to see 26. You know, I didn't think I would get this far because I was so sick of myself. I could not stand myself. Like, there was no one that I hated more than myself. You know what I mean? And it really fostered my depression and anxiety. And I had it really bad, especially in high school. Like, every day waking up was so daunting and draining. Like, sometimes I would wake up in tears because I had to go to school, because I didn't want to exist around other people. It was not easy. I feel like I'm saying that a lot. Like, of course it wasn't easy. I didn't want to exist in my own body. That's not easy. Gosh, I will say, I wish I could go back in time and hug that kid. That's why it's so important to me to do what I'm doing now. Not only to heal my past self, nurture my present self, and look out for my future self. I'm hoping that this is something that could help other people too, because no one should have to feel like that about themselves at any point in their life. Gosh. And so, you know, living like that at such a young age too, I honestly think that my depression and anxiety, coupled with the fact that I was still developing as a human being and going through puberty, it was just a wild freaking ride. And it was a lot of me being awful to myself, other people being awful to me, and that had been going on pretty much as long as I could remember. Like, school was not easy because so many people just like seemingly went out of their way to make sure that I did not feel good about myself, you know? And I don't know what that was rooted in for them and why they would have done that. Honestly, at this point, I forgive them for that, for being what they felt they needed to be. I just hope and pray that they changed and decided to be good people and decided to move in kindness. And I wasn't perfect either. Like, I got to a point because of all that pain that I was harboring, I kind of became a little shit. Like, there's no other way to put it. I was a little jerk. I'm not proud of that, but that's who I was because I had a lot of big emotions and a lot of pain that I didn't know what to do with. I didn't know where to put it. I didn't know how to direct it. I didn't know how to heal it. So it manifested into something very ugly. And after that, after being a very angry person, it turned into me trying to heal myself through other people using my body, essentially. Trying to find the love I needed to give myself in other people. Turns out I'm asexual, by the way, so that was not a good idea. Yeah. And I wanted so badly for other people to validate me without giving the validation to myself. I wanted so badly for someone to say you are good enough. Little did I know, even if everyone in the world lined up and told me how amazing and special and worthy I was, it wouldn't matter if I didn't believe it myself. You know, like, you can tell me the sky is blue all day. If I don't look up and check myself, I'm never going to truly know, now am I? And so I struggle with that very hard, like very harshly, with the types of relationships, romantic relationships specifically. It's funny, I feel like that I picked really good friends, but when it came to romantic partners, I kind of fucked myself. Like, sorry to be so vulgar about it, but that I don't know how else to put it. I really did kind of fuck myself on that. It's like I was able to see great people that I wanted to be friends with, but when it came to romantic partners, I chose some people that just did not care about me. And I think that stemmed from a place of me deep down not believing that I deserved to be with someone that I actually liked, but to be with somebody I felt I had to be with because that's who I was quote unquote supposed to be with, which is total bullshit. If you like someone, they like you, yada yada whoop de whoop. You should probably be a thing if the circumstances allow, you know? Because you're worthy of joy and happiness and love. But yeah. So, I did so much to myself because I hated myself so much. And I broke myself down in so many ways. To a point where, like, I couldn't do it anymore. And I just could not keep living like that. I knew that I had essentially a choice. I had to get it together or I was gonna die. To put it very plainly, if I did not pull myself together, I was either going to be dead or only somehow get worse and more jaded, and like it would turn me into a version of myself that I can't even like fathom the thought now. But I knew that I was becoming somebody that I just did not recognize, and I did not like that. I just decided to choose me. Now, when I was first like on, especially like at the beginning of trying to be just in general nicer to myself, that shit was hard. Because something I would say at the beginning, you don't know how much you hate yourself until you try to love yourself. And I say that because it's almost like you're in the midst of it and you're aware of it, but it's not like something that you're really grasping on to until you're forced to sit down with it and examine it for what it is. And I learned that I really did not like myself. It was heartbreaking because like what did I do? I didn't do anything. Thinking about the journey that I was on from hating myself to loving myself, I tried to jump from point A to point B and didn't realize that I needed a bridge to, actually get there. Like, so imagine you're just trying to catapult yourself from one cliff to the next. You're not likely to be successful. And that was essentially the case. I was just trying to force myself into, bam, loving myself, because now that I had, acknowledged the problem and acknowledged that, oh, yeah, hating myself is not fun. I don't want to do it anymore. I was ready to just love myself, but I wasn't ready, I needed to go slowly. I needed to take the time to do small things like course correction, like when I would say something mean to myself. But course correction for me, like I can only speak on my own experience. I couldn't be like, oh, I'm saying this awful thing about me, and then course correct saying, oh no, wait, but I'm the greatest thing in the entire world. Like, though I did that as a joke, sometimes, like when I was trying to be more serious, I couldn't really do that. I had to start small. Like, say I was doing something and I made a mistake and I was being too hard on myself, I would, essentially give myself the facts, because that's all I can do. I may not believe in myself in the sense of I think that I'm worthy, but I can't ignore that, hey, I made a mistake and that's okay. Like I hope that makes sense. Like it's, I wanted to start off with small things like that. Like, okay, I made a mistake. Okay, I actually like the way this piece of clothing looks on me. Small stuff like that. And I gradually made my way to being like, oh my god, I'm so this, that, and third. And how I see it is I started with one side, the cliff of hating myself, and the cliff I'm trying to get to, loving myself. I had to build a bridge of self-acceptance so that I could get there. That's how I kind of see it now. It's like I had to make a way to loving myself. Because when you think about it, it's a journey like everything else. This whole life is a journey. It's not necessarily about the destination. If I'm being completely honest, I don't think that I will ever be done with this self-love journey. There is always more room to grow, to change, to learn about yourself. We are growing and changing and evolving every day. I don't think this journey will ever truly be done. But I think the goal should be to make it as easy as possible, because life is hard enough as it is. You don't need to add anything to your plate to make it harder for yourself if you do not have to. Life is just going to be hard. Life is going to happen to you whether you want it to or not. So there is no reason for you to make it harder for yourself. Life is going to whip your ass whether you want it to or not. Sorry to put it like that, but it is what it is. So try to, chill out. That's another reason why being gentle with yourself is so important. Like, this world is going to be unkind to you at times. Sometimes longer than what you would like. But as long as you are able to turn and give yourself grace and be like, okay, this is happening and it's shit. And that's okay. You're going to make it through. Because you have to believe that within yourself. Like I said before, yeah, everybody else could tell you X, Y, Z, A, B, C. But if you don't believe it, there's no point. It doesn't mean anything if it doesn't mean anything to you. Another big part of this journey so far that I didn't expect to be so important, or really, I didn't even think about it at all. It did not cross my mind. Forgiving yourself. I have had to forgive myself for the way my life turned out, essentially. I had to forgive myself for the fact that things could have been different, but they weren't because of circumstance. That's not necessarily my fault, but I was being hard on myself because I wasn't where, essentially what I've been told where I'm supposed to be. And I, for a very long time, was really hard on myself for that, because I wasn't following the quote-unquote plan. But I realized that everybody has their own thing. It's not always going... One person's journey is not going to look like the next. It's going to differ in some way, shape, or form because people are different. There is no guarantee that everybody's going to do everything the exact same way at the exact same time. We all have different stories to tell, and we are meant to impact this world in our own way. And I couldn't keep holding myself back for that. I couldn't keep holding myself accountable for something that was out of my control in a lot of ways. And for the things that were in my control, it passed. Whatever happened, happened. And I couldn't hold that against myself anymore, because how am I supposed to move forward if I'm still holding myself back in the past? Not forgiving myself for things that are just done with. They don't even necessarily have an impact anymore, but I'm still, holding myself hostage about these things. The only thing I can do, and I'm pretty sure I made this point already, I just have to keep going. keep moving forward. That's really all I can ask of myself. It's not fair to hold myself back like that because of mistakes I've made. And this little life that I have built for myself, no, it's not where I thought I would be at this point in time. And it's far from perfect. But it's special. It's special to me. And I am beyond grateful to have what I have and to be here. I am, I guess, in a lot of ways surprised that I am even here. But I'm so glad to be. I may not be where I want to be right now, but I'm going to get there. I am going to become the person that I'm striving to be. In a lot of ways, I already am. This self-love journey has been so beneficial to me. Not every day is easy. Like, some days are just rough. Like, I still have bad days. I still can be a little tough on myself because I'm a human being. And sometimes you go, gosh, I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I said that. I can't believe XYZ. That's just gonna happen. But you can't be too hard on yourself about it. You can't make yourself relive that moment for like months on end. You gotta keep going. Learn from your mistakes, keep going. Apologize when you need to. Work on those parts of yourself that need the work, and be gentle with yourself. Because if you don't, who will? Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to what I have to say. I am very excited for where this journey is going to take me, and I can't wait to see what happens. I hope that I get to keep talking about stuff I want to talk about, because this has been fun, and I can't wait to do the next episode. Planning ahead. You can find me on most things at Oddly Cozy Cottage, except for Twitter. On Twitter, I'm Oddly Cottage because someone stole my name. And by stole my name, I mean they got there before me. Win some, lose some, and that's okay. But yes, once again, thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. And I hope to see you in the next one.